Scott Corporation, and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
It's a Wednesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And man, it looks a little different in here today, as we have a packed studio house to start off the show. We are joined not just by Ty Bartell, our co-host, but we're joined by Mike Bailey, head coach of Salem boys and girls soccer, and boys soccer senior captain Max Kamatz. Guys, thank you so much for coming to the studio today.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's exciting to be here. Yeah, we're open. I'm glad Max is here. It's good to have face with the program around as well. Besides me.
Absolutely.
For Mike, we can say welcome back, because we've had you in the studio back in the beginning of the season. I think before you guys even started a game. I think it was previewing the season.
Yeah, I think we were even a week and a half away from first kick. Yeah,
and here we are, last week of the season before tournaments.
Yeah.
From then to now, obviously the girls have had a historic season, more wins than I believe in program history, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And the boys have had a great season as well. What kind of things have you seen from your team from the beginning of the season to now from both teams?
Both of them, both boys and girls, just buying it. We set some lofty goals on both sides, the boys and the girls, and we've reached the majority of them so far. And obviously, there's definitely some still out there, a big one hanging out tonight. But we're excited for it. And like I said, the boys and girls on both sides just really have committed to what we talk about: competing, being a team, playing for each other. All those cliche things that come in with sports, they've been there and they've taken hold of it.
Coach, I think it's no question that your coaching motto of "stay even" has probably been ringing within the YSN studios.
I don't know how much you watch our show, but we probably use it at least once a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We love it.
I love
So,
it.
Speaking to one of your captains as well, too, Max, speak to me, too. For such a motto, and it's one that you use, you say, across both platforms, for both the boys and the girls teams. Talk to me, for you, what it means staying even on the soccer field, game in, game out, and being able to produce successful seasons for the Salem soccer team.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of highs and lows within the game. Maybe you don't get a call that goes your way. It can't affect you. It's going to affect your gameplay. It's going to affect the team. Just throughout the whole game, the whole season, you got to stay even. Absolutely.
It's easy. It's easy to kind of adapt to bouncing back from something that doesn't go your way, but you also have to stay even when things are really going your way and not getting too high. Talk about handling that side of things too, and trying to not get too high on the big moments of this season.
Yeah, last night we went up 1-0 with about 30 minutes left in the game, and it's hard in a big game like that to not get excited and not be hyped.
Right.
But we really did dial in, play our game, and not go too crazy with our ball handling, anything like that. It was really good.
Coach, I want to talk to you a little bit too about not the motto, but also the playing while the highs too. Talking about the girls team now. A successful season, 14-1, I believe your record stands at. And with such a successful season, you got to imagine that there's a lot of highs throughout the season. Talk to me about what it's been like in the atmosphere of the girls' locker room, trying to just bring that energy back down and making sure that they're dialed in game to game and they haven't really gotten too high on themselves this season. Obviously, they've come out successful game to game.
Yeah, the girls take a different approach than what I'm used to. Like if you come and watch our warm-ups and pregame, they've got their own speaker that they bring, and they've got that thing cranked, and there's all the kind of pop music you would be listening, like typical high school teenage girls would be listening to, and they're dancing, they're having fun, they're super, super loose. And I'm not that way, like at all. So it took like a little bit, like, cause that's what they do. And I don't want to change that at all. And it's become something now where like all those coaches are involved in, and it's become like this really loose atmosphere in warmups. And then when that whistle blows and kicks off, they click in, and, we've done a really good job across the board, whether that's defensively or offensively. The girls are playing well together. They're communicating. We score a lot of goals, and sometimes, it is easy to when the highs get up there to stay up there and not drop back down. But they do a great job of taking instruction and realizing what's in front of them and what's at stake. They just do a really nice job on game day.
And obviously, as we talked about when we had you on for the preview, you and your staff are in charge of both the girls and the boys program. And you kind of laid out your game plan for that. It was a week and a half before the season, but I asked you this off the air. I'm going to ask you on the air. Did things go like exactly as you kind of game planned them to go? Have there been a couple of navigational things that you've had to kind of navigate through doing this? I mean, it's kind of an experiment a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. With the three head coaches that we got with Ken Paulini and Travis Ziegler and myself, I'd love to say that it was totally smooth, because that would be fun, but it wasn't. But it wasn't, for the most part. It went to plan. As far as the goals that we've set, the things we wanted to reach, the way we wanted to teach the game to our players, the way we wanted to hold everybody to the same standard, things have gone really, really well. And that's a huge credit to our kids on both the boys and girls side. It's one that we could sit up there and say things till we're blue in the face, but if those kids don't buy in and follow through, then it's all for nothing. And a lot of credit to the kids.
Max, from a player's perspective, what's it like having the coaching staff that is in charge of both programs, and you don't have to even guess whether or not they're putting the time in for you guys in the program? What's that kind of like for you guys?
It's really relaxing, honestly, because you have three coaches who bring three different things. Every day we go into training, and it can be something new, so nothing ever gets too stale. Keeps us on our toes too, which is good.
This is a question that I could extend to both of you, and I want to hear it from both a player's perspective and a coach's perspective. Going into playoffs now, and playoffs just being around the corner now, what is it that you want to, as a coach, you want to see improvements on for both the boys and the girls team going into this playoffs, or what you think you can improve on, and what you've already liked what you've liked in the season from both of them? And then from a player's perspective, what you think you can improve on your game and what the team can improve on, whether that be on the field, off of the field, whatever, before you go into these playoffs.
You want me to go first?
You go
Okay.
first.
All right. As far as improvement, I'm the type of coach, and he'll second that. Like, I'm constantly on them. We need to be better. We need to do this better. And we have a good rapport with the players that they know that we're looking out for them, that we're there's three of us, but we're on the same page. We're trying to accomplish the same things. As far as the boys going to the tournament, a big thing for us is just playing together a little bit more, getting the ball off our foot a little bit more, for sure. But other than that, at this point in time of the year, we're not looking to reinvent the wheel for us. We know what we're good at. We know what we're not good at. And we're gonna play to our strengths. With the girls, we've got a huge one tonight with West Branch for the EBC title, and it's going to be an electric atmosphere there out of West Branch. We're really excited for the game. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be a packed house there. But the girls are playing some good soccer. But again, they know as well, we're never complacent as a coaching staff. Like, we're constantly pushing them, trying to get more out of them, trying to see things. I think one of the biggest things that we have as a coaching staff is halftime. Our kids have done a really awesome job at halftime of us breaking things down and presenting a solution to some issues, and them actually taking that and applying it. That was a big part of our game last night with the boys. Max was the rest of the boys. We saw some things that we were doing incorrectly, and we went into halftime. We talked about it. We drew it up, figured it out, and things went really, really well in the second half for us and had lots of opportunities to finish.
I like that you bring that up because the more soccer coaches that me and Ty have talked to, the more we've realized how important halftime really is because they've told us, and all of them have told us, you don't really get a chance to make adjustments during the game.
Mhm.
There's no timeouts. There's no let's huddle together and talk about it like every other sport. Halftime's all you get. So, I mean, I like that you bring up how important, how good you guys have been in halftime adjustments. And, you only get, maybe 10 minutes for a halftime,
Mhm.
15?
10.
So
Yeah.
So you gotta use your time management really well. Let's preview this game tonight against West Branch for your girls program. Obviously, shining stars on both teams, very good players on both teams. What kind of things should we expect from this game? What kind of things do you expect from this game? Without giving away the farm, can you go into a little bit of a game plan or a little bit of a things that you guys have to do, keys to victory for Salem?
Sure. We'll say as far as the game plan is to win. we'll leave the game plan at that. But it's going to be a battle. These are two really good teams, and the fact that we're neighbors, we're in the same conference, a title's on the line tonight. That place is going to be loud. It's going to be packed. We made a deal with the boys team. You win on Tuesday, we'll give you Wednesday off, but all of you better be at that girls game. and so they're off today, going to be at the game though. And I'm excited. This is my first dive into the girls' side of this rivalry, and it's really, really exciting. And the reason why I coach obviously is for the kids, number one, but that big game, I love that. Give me that big game all day. You know what I mean? I'll play a 1-0 game every day of the week, as opposed to some of these 4 or 5-0 wins that you're hopefully on the right end of there. But it's gonna be a really great atmosphere and a really fun game, and I'm excited for it.
In this matchup, you and Coach Fico, both just, I think, one of the more respected coaches in the area. So matches of not just great players, but I think great coaching staffs. It'll be a good chess match between what you guys do, what kind of halftime adjustments you guys make, because I'm sure it'll be close at halftime.
Yeah, we expect a battle all the way through 80 minutes. You know what I mean? This shouldn't be an issue where one team gets up and keeps getting up. And like I've said when I was on previously, lots of respect for Cheryl and the program that she has over there. She's done a tremendous job, and that's part of the fun too as a coach. Getting to go against other great coaches and seeing how you match up. And they're doing this, so let's counter here. They're going to counter that way. That's a lot of the fun of coaching too, for sure.
I know coaches don't like to single out one player because there are so many pieces, but we have to talk about Riley Hutton a little bit because she's just put together a monster season. She's on everybody's top 5 players list. Steel Valley Soccer is always talking about her.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about what kind of things you've seen from her this season and what makes her kind of such a special talent and so successful.
Riley is a special talent. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. In my opinion, and obviously there's some bias here, but I also try to look at things from an unbiased scenario. Riley's the best striker in the area. What she brings to the table, she is incredibly fast. And last year, she was a lot of just north-south, up and down. And this year we challenged her. And I've never had a player come and meet a challenge from coaches. That girl is coming back to the ball, moving around, all the things that we need from her to be successful. If you're able to tune into a game or come to a game and watch Riley work, your mouth will drop. She's phenomenal. Just her work rate does not stop. And she is one of the best competitors I've ever been around in my life as a coach. Just phenomenal. And the best part is she's only sophomore.
Right. Got 2 more years after this one.
Yep.
Max, talking about that from a competitor standpoint, and to further that question too about the improvements that you want to make going into the playoffs, talk to me a little bit too from a captain's perspective, from a leadership perspective. What kind of responsibilities you take on for the team too, going into a playoff run, going into the tail end of a season? What do you look at it for the team from a leadership perspective, and what kind of responsibilities you take in that for the team?
I feel like the biggest responsibility I have is making sure the team stays even throughout the whole match, for real. But another thing I like to bring is the energy. I think it's really good to set the tone early in the warm-up to see how the game goes. So that's what I really like to bring when I'm big responsibility for me, for sure.
And one of the things I want to ask you is just what kind of things do you think, from freshman you to senior you? Of course, you've grown up a lot. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen, not just as a player, but I'm sure as a person as well?
I've seen a culture change in Salem. I feel like of soccer. There's a really good thing happening in Salem right now for soccer. A culture it really is brewing of hard work, integrity. Yeah, it's going to be good in a couple of seasons. It's really good right now, but it's going to keep growing.
Coach, to kind of add on to that question for you too. I mean, looking at this, we previewed both these teams prior to the season, and we had extensive conversations about both of them. Looking at what you thought both of these teams were going to be this season to now, what has been the biggest surprises for both teams for you, whether that be on play, off play, field, well, whatever it has have you? What has been the biggest surprise for each team for you?
Great question. On the boys' side, we're pretty young. We've got Max and 2 other seniors, and 4 juniors, and the rest are freshmen, sophomores. We basically start 3 freshmen consistently, and occasionally a 4th freshman starts when we have somebody injured and things like that. And just to have that young of a group, and especially like our 2 strikers up top are sophomores, our attacking mid's a freshman, our center defensive mid's a sophomore. So to have up the middle like that, have young guys, you got to have guys like him in the back leading the way, and just that surprise of those guys stepping up as well as they have for the boys. That's been huge for our season. We had some guys that unfortunately didn't come back out this season. Some guys chose to just stick with cross country because it's so much for them to do cross and play soccer, and just to have those young guys step up and still for us to accomplish a lot of the goals that we set out is awesome, and shows the program's headed in a really, really good direction. The girls, to be honest with you, there's not a ton of surprise there. Like, we knew we had a very stellar girls team, like a really strong team coming back. And we knew we needed to push them and get them ready for tonight. Tonight's like before the tournament, you can't ask for much more. You know what I mean? Play your rival and play for a championship. Like, it doesn't get better than that, but the girls went the way we thought it was going to go for the most part. Don't get me wrong, there's some hiccups and some great things that are unexpected along the way, but both teams have just answered the call to coaching and started playing for each other consistently every single day, and it's been awesome.
So you kind of expected the girls to be as good as they are, but I'm going to ask about their confidence as a team. Do you think they came into the season with that kind of confidence, or do you think they built it as games and wins started adding up? Hey, okay, we're putting together something special. Let's start to get this swagger, this confidence, because now I know they have it, and I can see it in your post-game videos. I can see it on social media. They have this kind of attitude, swagger, that unbridled confidence. Not bad confidence, but good confidence in themselves. Do you think that was at the beginning of the season, or do you think that's grown from the beginning of the season to now?
Part of it was absolutely there in the beginning. They had a really successful season last season. I think they went 14-3 or 14-4. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that momentum, that good feeling, that good play carried over into this year. And then as those wins start mounting up and we start playing together as a team, they start seeing their potential. For sure, the confidence builds and it builds. But it's been a really fun ride on both sides. And, the girls doing what they're doing. Like I said, they're so loose, like in warm-ups, and the music's going, they're dancing, they're having a good time. And then, as you've talked about, like the bell videos, they ring the heck out of that bell, and then chaos ensues afterwards. It just everybody running at the camera having a good time. So it's been a lot of fun.
There's a distinct difference between the boys' bell videos and the girls' bell videos.
There sure are, yes. Yep, there sure are. The boys, they ring it and just walk off and clap, and the girls go nuts. It's a good time.
I'm sure, even though we can't see it on the boys' videos, it is a pride for you guys to ring that bell and get those wins. What does that kind of do? I mean, what does that kind of do for your team and the culture to have something to do after the win, to say it's a goal to ring that bell? We've earned that opportunity to go and ring that bell.
Yeah, I think it definitely motivates the boys to work hard, get the W. We don't ring it unless we get the win. Right. So it really puts some pressure on our back, and I think we benefit from it.
And it's something we talk about. Hey, let's get this win and let's go ring that bell. You know what I mean? It's a motivating factor for sure.
And you said it wasn't even your idea.
Yeah, right.
So we talked a little bit about the surprises, and I'll focus on the boys team for this one. And you talk about all the young players that play on the boys team now. Obviously, from beginning of the season to now, there's going to be a lot of growth that happens in that. From both a player's perspective as an upperclassman and a coach's perspective, what has been the most growth you've seen on this boys team from beginning of the season to now?
You want to go first?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think emotionally, I mean, just in the game, the beginning of the season, we had a lot of players, when they'd foul, they'd get upset, or if they got fouled, they'd get upset and retaliate. That really has slowed down, and they've matured. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, and just from a coach's, the growth that we've had on the boys' side is through the roof. When you have that many young kids and you end up winning 10 games, they've had to have stepped up. And a couple of them, you feel for them in the beginning of the year because they're out there and they're not quite ready, but they got to get that experience so that way on the back end they are ready, and that tournament run can happen with everybody firing on all cylinders. And just those young kids they've taken a really, really straightforward approach and just tried to do things the way that they see guys like Max and some of our other leaders doing. It's just nice to have great leaders like Max that can show those guys the way and get them ready to play at a high level. And, just because you're a freshman doesn't mean I'm going to be any different on you as a coach. Like, obviously I understand you don't have the knowledge that he has from playing so much, but we expect you to perform, and we expect you to do things the right way. And the boys have responded well.
Max, final question for you as a senior. What are some future goals that you have after graduation? I know you're already taking college classes. What are some things that you want to see come out of your future after you graduate?
I'm planning to go to the University of Cincinnati to major in public relations. So I'm looking to get into media, and we'll see what happens, I guess.
They're quickly becoming Ohio's football team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Good
Go
timing.
Bearcats.
Good timing.
Yep.
My final question for you too, Max. Reflecting just on your experience, not only with Salem soccer program, but with Salem as a community and your school experience, just do a little bit of reflection for me and talk to me about how much not only the Salem soccer, but also the Salem community has meant to you throughout your high school experience.
Yeah, I actually transferred to Salem in my 7th grade year, so it's kind of nerve-wracking, getting into a new school and everything. But they really did welcome me with open arms. Everyone at Salem has really given me the opportunities to grow as a person, as a leader in the community. So I'm really honored and blessed to have that.
Coach, final question for you before we let you guys go. Give us a little bit of obviously, if you can't get up for tonight's game, then I don't know what you can't get up for. But for the Salem fans out there that might be on the fence a little bit for coming to tonight's game, give a little promo for why they should actually get on the other side of the fence and get to this game and get to this EBC championship match.
I mean, you've got a group of 24 girls who have worked tirelessly to get better, to challenge themselves, to play at a high level. This is a group that loves the game, loves to play for each other, competes at a high level, and wants to compete at a high level. They don't take anything for granted. If you want to see a bunch of girls play the game of soccer the right way, the intelligent way, and play for one another, this is a team you need to come watch. Strong from top to bottom, and some reserve players that are ready to roll as well. And we're excited for tonight and our opportunity to grab an EBC title in a highly contested match.
Coach, I think I asked you this type of question at the beginning of the season, and I just want to ask you it now from the end of the season from a perspective that may have changed or may not have. But what has been your favorite thing about coaching this dual both boys and girls this year? You could talk about some points from the boys team, from the girls team, but what's been your favorite part about coaching?
I mean, honestly, my favorite part about it is that I get to that stadium around 3:15 to get either the boys or the girls rolling for practice. And then we have a high level practice where everybody's running around doing the right things. And then that team finishes, they greet the other team as they come in, and then they're off. And then we've got that. And then it's match day, or, and if it's an away game, sometimes I'm driving instead of riding a bus, which I don't like to do, but sometimes we have to because we got to get practice in. But it's just having, I spend my night coaching soccer. at the high school level for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a night. And that is something that I've really, really enjoyed, and getting to know these guys even more, even though I was returning to them, and then getting to know the girls on a personal level. It's just been an awesome experience, and I'm really thankful for it. And I'm excited what the teams have brought as far as to our coaching style with Travis and Kent and I. And we're excited for the tournament. We're surely excited for tonight.
We can't let Max off the hook for that question. So what's your favorite part of having this coaching staff?
I love the diversity they bring. It's always something new with them. I think each one, they bring something new to the table. I think there's a real energy that you can get from each one of them too as well. So I think it really benefits us and does us good.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today on Running Point in studio. It was so great having you. Coach, good luck tonight against West Branch. Max, good luck the rest of the season. We look forward to talking to you guys again real soon.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Really do.
All right, we are going to take a quick break on Running Point. On the other end, we will talk to this week's Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner, Alyssa Leskovac from Austintown Fitch. On the other end, on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Cocos Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocospizza.com. That's Cocos Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with Ty Bartell, both in the studio here, and we are going to be joined now by Barrett Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner this week on the volleyball section, Alyssa Leskovac. Alyssa, thank you so much for the time to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Man, has it been a big week for you or what? I mean, you win Barrett Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. You break the ace record in the season for Austintown Fitch. And then last night, you guys, of course, get the AAC championship over Canfield in a 5-set thriller. Talk about this kind of roller coaster of a week and what it's been like riding on it.
It's been so awesome. I mean, everything just kept piling up. And, winning Ysn Big Dog was obviously so awesome. I had so many people from our community supporting me with that. So that was really awesome. And breaking the record, kind of unexpected, but also just a great feeling. And then yesterday's game was just unbelievable.
Yeah, Alyssa, and talking about, this season with Fitch, and I mean, there's no doubt, experiencing it firsthand, you guys have had one special year, I think, too. And I mean, it only continues to get a little bit tougher, but you guys have answered the challenge time and time again. And I think part of the reason why you've earned this big dog, looking back at the game at Louisville, too, another example similar to the Canfield one where you guys go down 2-1. And then it seems like with you, there's a switch that flips and you all of a sudden key in and tune in and you end up doing some incredible things on the volleyball court. It seems like you enter takeover mode. Talk to me about those moments where it seems like you need to just put the team on your back and it's you and Jocelyn that seem to just always come out on top.
Yeah, me and Joe, we love those close matches. That's when we really can get into the game and get our energy most up. And that's when the team really gets excited because we're bringing that energy to the court. And I live for those close, tight games like that. It's so much fun. The energy that we bring is just insane, and it's really, really fun.
Let's talk a little bit more about last night. Everyone kind of knew that Canfield Fitch was going to be a really good game. AAC championship on the line, really good players on both sides. You guys had to battle back from 2-1 down. Take us through kind of what it took to bounce back from that and the emotional highs and lows of the games and what you think was the key to your victory.
Yeah, so obviously that game, there was a lot on the line. There was a lot of pressure. Canfield's crowd was insane. That first set, they kind of had all of the energy on their side. And then I think we just kept fighting throughout the entire game. And obviously we didn't have as many supporters there for us with it being their senior night. And it was awesome that Abby got to get her 1,000th kill. But I think we just kept fighting and we put our nose down and we just kept going until that final game.
Yeah, that 1,000th kill seemed to give them a little bit of the roller coaster momentum in the first set. It was the one that they won 25-17. They won their second set a lot closer. Did you guys have to take a little minute to regroup and try to get that momentum back? Because you came back in the second set and it was the most lopsided set of the match.
Yeah, so before the game, we obviously knew that she was going to have that accomplishment. So we were kind of we knew that the energy was going to be all on their side after that. And it definitely was, but we knew that we just had to keep going and we couldn't let that kind of affect our play. So we just kept hanging with them that first set and then ended up beating them that second set.
Even though there's a large group of seniors on this Lady Falcons team, it definitely seems like a lot of the girls come to you, and with good reason. It's why you're one of the captains there. Talk to me as being one of the leaders of this team and playing throughout this course of the season. Obviously, we talked to you a little bit before the season, but now talking to you, recapping the season, obviously, just before the end of it. What has been, I think, the biggest thing that you've seen growth-wise from this team? Especially with those younger players, is noting girls like Afton Roby who have stepped up largely this season too, just in her sophomore year.
I think the biggest thing for the younger girls, especially our middles, they're both, well, Afton's a sophomore and Julia Jordan, she is a junior. But I think the biggest thing for them has been gaining confidence. And I think that the team's really helping them with that and just boosting them at practice and in games when they're really doing well. And I think they've improved tremendously. And it's really awesome to see. And I look forward to watching them next year.
Everyone talks about Fitch's offense, and rightfully so. You guys have really good hitters, and you're dangerous from the middle and the outsides. Defense last night, I think, was one of the big keys in your victory. I mean, you had over 20 digs. Gosselin had over 20 digs. And Alyssa had over 20 digs. What kind of emphasis does this team put on defense and doing the work that really doesn't get too much love in the stat sheet?
Right. So we work so much defensively in practice. I would say for us, we kind of have little regard to our bodies and we're just throwing ourselves wherever the ball is. So I honestly think that's great to have so many players who will do anything to keep the ball in there. So yeah, Ella did really great. Joe did really great. And even Sammy had some really great passes yesterday too.
And don't think if anyone's doubting the reasoning why she's won Big Dog of the Valley, look also at the fact that a couple games ago at Poland, I was there as well. Now the new holder of the most aces in a single season is Alyssa Leskovac right there for the school. Talk to me a little bit about what that means to you now, being in the record books for the Lady Falcons. It's a very special accomplishment.
Yeah, it's really awesome. We actually just put up our stat board this year. So before the season, we were kind of all looking at it, wondering where we could fit on there. And for me, I was kind of looking at the digs to start out. I kind of thought digs maybe would be reachable for me, which I'm still a good amount away from a dig record. But that was initially what I thought. But now that aces have kind of turned on for me, it was just really exciting, definitely unexpected. Aces have never really been a big thing for me. So this year it was definitely really cool to see that I've gotten there and that my name will be on the board, not in just one spot, but two. I think that's really cool.
As a server, I've been told by aces are kind of gravy because your first job is just get the other team out of system, make a difficult pass. So when you get an ace, I mean that's got to just be icing on the cake because not only did you do your job, but it ended up being on the stat sheet for you.
Yeah, it's an awesome feeling. Yesterday I had one that clipped right over the net and it's super lucky, but it's a great feeling and it really brings the energy to the team when you get an ace.
And also I imagine it has to be very frustrating to get one of those ones that's so close to an ace and someone just runs it down the corner and barely gets a touch on it. And you go, what? But then you have to remember that the serve still did its job.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking at you as a server too, and I haven't questioned this, but I think that you do too, and I think you do a good job at it. Reading the court too when you're serving and attacking maybe some hitters that are a little bit weaker on those sides. I think you do a great job, and I think you have tremendous accuracy. Has that been something that you've always kind of had in your game plan, or is that something that you've kind of learned over the years on reading the court when you're serving?
Yeah, so Coach Bartlett kind of leaves it up to us where we want to serve. Some teams spot serve, and the coach kind of gives them a place to serve on the court, but she kind of leaves it up to us. She definitely trusts us when it comes to serving. So if I'm feeling like my serve maybe isn't super consistent one game, I'll just try to get it in, and usually it'll go to the middle of the court. But if I know that I'm definitely going to get it in and I'm really on, I'll try to pick where I think might be the weakest spot to aim my serve.
All right, so we've talked volleyball at the Wazoo. Let's learn a little bit about Alyssa Leskovac off the court. What are some of your favorite school subjects that you have going on right now at Austintown Fitch as a student?
Right now, I am in advanced chem, and I actually really like that class. It's kind of like an easier math class, so when I understand it, I can do it super easily, and I think it's a lot of fun.
How about that? She thinks advanced chemistry super easy. Oh, man.
I mean, IQ must be high. It's high on the court and it's high outside of the court. Talking a little bit too about your relationship. We've obviously have talked about your relationship with Coach Bartlett. Kind of a two-part question. What has been the biggest thing on the court that Coach Bartlett has kind of helped you with in your volleyball game? And what has been the one thing outside of volleyball that Coach Bartlett has taught you?
So outside of volleyball, Coach Bartlett is I know I told you this before, but she's like a mother figure to me. She is always there for me. She's always texting me, making sure everything's okay. She is just someone I really look up to. She actually wrote me a letter of recommendation for colleges that I applied to. So she's done so much for me, and I just really appreciate her. And on the court, I think the biggest thing is how much trust she puts into me. Like, she trusts me no matter any decision I want to make. She always comes to me and Joe, being the captains, and wants our input. So I think that that's just really awesome, and I love the relationship that we've built with her.
All right, Alyssa, I'm sure there were dinners last night. There were celebratory feasts last night. Made me think, what is your favorite post-game meal to have after a big win?
Pizza, no doubt. I am a super, super picky eater. The entire team always makes fun of me, but I love Little Caesars pizza, so that's my go-to no matter what.
So I'm guessing it's plain cheese pizza then?
Yep.
Rocket. Rocket. See, I had cheese pizza on the Audible call, and they made fun of me. I said, that's a kid's pizza. I'm like,
it's good.
Well, my other question too, and I mean, I've had the honor of calling multiple members of your family now, Alyssa. So when you got the ace record and everything you've been able to accomplish, was there some text or maybe some back and forth with Nate about the record and having your name up in the walls of Fitch now?
So surprisingly, Nathan has been super, super supportive. He's come to like almost all of my games this year, and it's really awesome because I look up to him so much when it comes to sports, and everything I do, he's just always so proud of me, and I'm just really, really thankful for him.
I want to give you the chance to thank the other people, Nathan, of course, but the people that have supported you, been there for you through the years, and the people that you couldn't be where you are without in your life.
Right. Well, obviously my teammates, I love them so much. My best friends, will never forget them even when I graduate from here. But my family also, my extended family, I can't tell you, they probably voted a million times for the YSN Big Dog thing. So super, super thankful for them. They're awesome. They come to all of my games. My teachers, my coaches, all so supportive. Coach Horacek always sending me text messages after the games. Everyone's just super supportive in my life, and I'm really thankful for them.
Obviously, you guys got a couple of tough matchups with both Strongsville and Highland before the start of the tournament, but the tournament is right around the corner, and you guys look like you are really focused and honed in on it. What is the biggest thing that you want to see improvement-wise? That obviously you guys are already a very great team. You guys do a lot of things well, but what is the biggest thing you want to see improvement-wise? And it could be either on the court, it could be emotionally, mentally, what have you, that you want to see in this team before the tournament.
Right. So we have 2 super big games coming up. I think our biggest thing, I think why we lost the sets yesterday, we make kind of little mistakes, and those little mistakes kind of keep building. Like, a first ball will go up and we'll have a communication issue, and then it'll fall. And I think that kind of brings us down. And then after that, it just goes downhill. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just really communicating more on the court in between those little plays and not letting those little mistakes happen. And I think we'll be good with these next games.
I got to ask about you guys and the energy you brought to the JV game and how much energy you pour into the girls that aren't on varsity yet, but still part of this program. How important is it for you guys as a team, as a varsity team, to make sure that those JV girls know you're there, know you're supporting them, and know that they're just as much a part of a program as you guys are?
I mean, we love the JV girls. We treat them like they're on varsity. They're like our sisters. We actually, for our senior night, they all wrote little messages on balls to us. And Jordan Smith, who is the outside hitter on the JV team, she wrote that me and Joe are her biggest inspirations. And I just thought that was so sweet. And it just makes me like love them so much more and want to be there for them and always cheer them on, because I know how much respect they have for me, and I want to show that back to them.
I got to give a follow-up, because we know the culture of Fitch volleyball is very deep, and the Fitch High School takes their volleyball very seriously. I'm sure there are girls that are younger in middle school and in elementary that watch this varsity team and are looking up to people like you and Jocelyn and Aaron and all the leaders of this team. What's it mean to you to kind of know that you guys have girls that are really looking up to you and kind of want to be in your shoes when they grow up and get older in the varsity program?
It's amazing. I remember I felt the exact same way when I was in middle school and I was watching the older girls. So now that we kind of have that relationship with them, it's so awesome, and I'm just really thankful. They all came to our game yesterday, and they're always cheering us on. They're always giving us high fives. So they have a really good future ahead of them.
My final question for you, Alyssa. I mean, we've definitely talked to you a lot about reflection, and with good reason too. I mean, in your senior year, and you guys are doing some great things. But talk to me a little bit now about what the Fitch community has meant to you, and I guess just to put the spotlight on you, I just give this as an opportunity to kind of thank the Fitch community, and also rally them up, because I know October 23rd there's going to be a packed house probably at Austintown Fitch, but definitely give them a call to come out to Fitch High School.
Yeah, so my experience at Fitch has been so amazing. I mean, you saw at senior night how many people came out to support us. And I think recently, especially with sports, but with academics also, Fitch is just going so uphill. All of our programs are doing amazing. We just got a new athletic director, and he's a great guy. So I think we have such a good future ahead of us at Fitch, and I'm just really excited to see where it goes.
Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us today on Running Point. We love talking to you. I think it's like the third time we've had you on the show. We're not ashamed of highlighting great athletes. Thank you for joining us. Good luck in the tournament. Good luck the last 2 games of the regular season. And hey, who knows? We might talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Alyssa Leskovac, the captain, senior, ace leader, etc. of Fitch volleyball. We've both had a chance to call multiple games of her career. You can't speak too high on that athlete right there.
No, and I mean, yeah, the great thing about this Lady Falcons team, and you can point different ways too, and why they're so dangerous. I mean, Erin is so good with getting assists, one of the better passers, I think, in the area. You got Jocelyn, that's a fantastic kill getter. After Roby's come on the spot getting blocks. You got Jordan Smith, that's young, that's been able to come on the spot. I mean, Ella Solly, great with getting digs and getting into Sierra Cable's huge too. But the one player that it feels like is at the center of everything, that has a little bit of everything, the jack of all trades, really, that's Alyssa Leskovac on this team. The one that could literally fill up the box score in multiple categories and do whatever you need her to do, and do it efficiently on the court. And she talks about, even too, the nights where she's not having good serves, or still serves that are going to the middle back row of the court too.
And she makes adjustments based on, it's almost like a pitcher realizing their slider's not working, or their slider's not moving the way they want it to. Okay, then what can I do without that? Or what can I do with this? How can I adjust my serve to still get the job done? And of course, the job of the serve, first and foremost, is to just get the other team out of system. Make that as hard as possible for them to get a pass to the center.
Yeah.
And she does a really good job at that.
And
the whole Fitch team, really good serving. I think they only had maybe 2 service errors last night. And one of the reasons why Canfield struggled is because they couldn't pass good enough to get their middle involved, especially in the later sets. And Abby Muckleroy is a pretty good middle. But one of the things about getting middle blockers involved is you have to have good passes. You can't have your setters running to the back row and then set the middle. It's a lot harder. So they had to set their outsides more. They really couldn't get Muckleroy involved. She had 5 kills the first set, won the rest of the match. And that came mostly because Canfield's struggles with passing. And I think a big part of that was not just the firepower with their hitters, but their serving as well.
The big thing too, what we see with the Lady Falcons is, and you can't doubt it, is how clutch that they've been this season.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about they've made it. They're undefeated in set number 5 this year, first and foremost, because they don't get to many set number 5s. But the biggest thing about that too, only 1 loss in 5-set matches. Another loss to Dover came in a 3-set try match too. So only 2 losses on the season. But the biggest thing with this Lady Falcons team is that you have to wear them down to try to beat them, and they're so hard. If you get into long volleys, that's the thing with the Lady Falcons. They're going to keep wearing you down, and they're very, very good at keeping the ball in play, getting back into system. And the biggest reason why is Alyssa Leskovac too. No matter where she ends up on that court, she's able to efficiently do her job, whether that's getting a dig, setting the ball, or going for a kill. She might not have the most in each category, but she's definitely in the upper echelon of every category, and her name appears in every
I
category.
think what makes Fitch special is their good hitters buy into defense too. So Jocelyn Jordan is not a liability in the back row. She gets her digs. She goes back there. She plays great defense. Alyssa Leskovac, not a liability in the back row. She plays full rotation. She can go back there, get her digs. Sammy Missick, not a liability in the back row. All these players that really buy into strong defense and not just looking at the offensive stats. Sometimes as an outside hitter, you can get caught up in how many kills you get or how many hard swings you're getting and kind of lax on your defense a little bit, and that doesn't happen at Fitch. And the other thing I want to bring up, Afton Roby goes under the radar, but a sophomore first-year middle blocker is doing some high-level senior college-level things. Last night to end the match, Canfield got a perfect pass off a serve. Their setter goes to set the back row at the household. Back row attacks are so hard to block because you got to time them right. Afton Roby was there on it, timed it perfectly, got the block, end of match. It's really incredible.
She leads the team in blocks as a sophomore, and with good reason. And like you said, she's very aware, hyper aware, and you know what, Coach Bartlett, you're not telling me any secret that I don't know, because Coach Bartlett has been telling me all season long, and anytime you speak to her about Afton, how impressed she is with how well she can play as a sophomore and plays high-level volleyball, and you see it too. The kills are going to come along, and you might see her transition too to the outside, kind of like Jocelyn Jordan did at some point. She's got some height on it too.
I think Afton is built to be a middle blocker.
I think so as well.
Like, I was watching Jocelyn last year, and I was like, she's in the middle because they need her to be in the middle, but she's built to be an outside hitter. Like her transitions, her approach was phenomenal, but she's built to be an outside hitter. I think Afton Roby is built to be a middle blocker. She's so good on defense. She'll get those blocks. Obviously, instincts in the block is great. I think you'll see Afton in the middle for her career.
And you know what the great thing is? Fitch gets both Afton and Jocelyn back next year as well. So Fitch volleyball, you're going to be good for years to come.
I know it. We all know it. And then one of the things, we didn't know how good they were going to really be this year because there are so many players that are stepping into bigger roles.
Yeah.
So they lost a college-level setter. Emma Bartlett's gone. They lost a college-level outside hitter. Chelsea Wheeler's gone. They lost the middle blockers in Fisher. There were a lot of pieces from last year's special team that left. So I think there were a lot of question marks on how these players, even Alyssa Leskovac wasn't a big key to their victory last year. I mean, she was more of an opposite side hitter. Now all of a sudden she's getting set a lot more and stepping up a lot more and being a bigger impact to the team. So there are a lot of players that are stepping into bigger roles. Even Jocelyn Jordan is getting set a lot more because she's an outside now. So it's just impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And you keep going with that. You could look at Aaron Burke does a great job too. I mean,
I'll go back. I think Aaron Burke's experience having to play that one tournament game last year against Perry because Emma Bartlett was hurt did wonders for her this year because she had her feet wet. It was one game, but it was a big tournament game. Nothing surprised her this year. I think she was very aware of what the standards were going to be for a varsity setter. And I think that one tournament game last year was phenomenally important to her development this year as a setter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sammy Missick stepped up huge. Sierra Cable's fantastic too. Has stepped into libero roles. Ella Saul Lee too as a senior, another one of those leaders that doesn't get a whole lot of credit, I feel like. But I mean, she is huge for that team as well. A lot of good pieces on this Lady Falcons
Limich does
team.
a lot of dirty work on the opposite side too.
I mean, they're a deep team, and that's the great thing about the Lady Falcons.
Too, right? Yeah, 7.
Yeah. So, I mean, they have a lot of young talent too. So like we always say, great program. That's exactly what it is. You can't look further than that.
Yeah. It's something that we look forward to covering for tournaments and see how far Fitch can go. Interesting tidbit. We might see round 3 of Canfield versus Fitch. They are on the same side of the bracket. They both have to win their sectionals, of course. Don't want to look too far ahead. But if Canfield wins their sectional and Austintown Fitch wins their sectional, it's round 3 in Solon. And it's the most on the line because that will be trip to district championships on the line.
Yep, and that would be huge, obviously.
Wild. And we definitely hope it gets it because we love YSN tournament matchups because that guarantees at least one team moves on.
Oh, absolutely. And I think round 3, I think you're going to see the best of the best from each team, and that would definitely be fun.
You know, I think Canfield can look at that film last night and see some of the things that they could do a little bit better. They're right there. I mean, they're right there with Fitch. They're a great team. Their record's not as good, but they play a really tough out-of-conference schedule. You look at Canfield's out-of-conference schedule. I think it's tougher than Fitch's, which is hard to do. Yeah, I think Canfield's right there. If there was a round 3, I don't know how that would go. It would be a toss-up almost.
Canfield's gotten closer. I mean, you saw the growth. I mean, a loss in 4 sets when it was at Fitch earlier in the season to a loss in 5 sets close, too, at Canfield.
They had a 2-1 lead, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you're seeing the growth, too, and I think that's the biggest thing with the Lady Cardinals with Canfield is there's a lot of growth that we've seen from the beginning of the season to now, and it's a lot of the younger players learning to step in, and it's also like, who else is going to step up other than Householder?
Nice.
And you got McElroy that's stepping up, and some other big pieces.
Yeah, to step up a little bit.
Yeah, and it was just those players needed the time to kind of adjust and figure out, okay, I need to step up now. I need to fill in this role. Here's what I need to do. And there's adjustments for some younger players and even for some senior players too. If you had to wait a little bit before getting that starting time, there's adjustments that need to be made.
And shout out to Parker Wilkins too. A heck of a libero back there for Canfield. Liberos don't get enough love. I always want to give them love because they don't get like they're kind of an afterthought on the stat sheet. Oh, they led the team with digs. It's like a lot of people are like, what the heck's a dig? You know, so. They don't get the flashy highlights, but liberos are so important, and Parker Wilkins is a really good one for Canfield.
Oh, absolutely, and I mean, I love liberos too. When you're able to curve a great serve with just getting down there and just beating it out before it hits the ground, those are some fantastic.
What I love about him is so easy to pick out of a crowd.
Yeah,
I know you got the dig because you're in white. Oh man, that was fun. We love talking to people. We just confirmed the other Baird dogs, but Baird brothers. That I always struggle with saying this. Baird brothers, Big Dog of the Valley winner, Austin Klein is going to be on the show tomorrow at noon. We just confirmed that. So Austin Klein from Beaver Local will be on the show tomorrow. We're excited for that. We love talking to our Baird brothers winners.
Yep, as well as we have a confirmation now from Heartland Christian Volleyball as well. Coach Bowersox is going to be on as well, so excited to have that on as
Big
well.
night for Heartland last night as Emma Hall became, I believe, the 5th ranked player in sets played for Heartland Christian, number 5 on that list. I got a chance to see Emma Hall in person. She's an incredible player. Digs, kills. She does one of those players like we're talking about with Alyssa Leskovac, able to do it all on the court for Heartland. So excited to talk to her tomorrow about that and about some of the other things in this team. Look who you got kind of sneaking up next.
I know. Look at him. He's trying to sneak up.
I think he's trying to do a little Vulcan V-meld right there. It's bam.
Trying to scare me real quick. Trying to intimidation.
Get you off your
factor.
mojo. You know, before we get Scotty on, we're gonna pay the bills a little bit, take a quick time out. And we'll be back with more on Running Point and more from our boy Scotty. Don't go anywhere. Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online,
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm joined by Ty Bartell, but also joined like we are every Wednesday around 1 o'clock, Mr. Scotty Mincher. Scotty, how we doing?
I'm great. Any day I'm here, man, it's a better day. I love Wednesdays, so ready to roll, pun intended.
I love it. I'm ready to roll too, pun intended. We're unite.
Triples unite.
Oh, geez, slang word.
Yeah.
Handicap people unite.
I think this
gotta can't make people on the internet angry.
Yeah, that's well.
That'd be
I
the
think
worst thing
we
to do.
could say it.
I know we can say it.
Yeah.
Ty,
I ain't saying anything.
Ty, you say we'll beat you up.
Yeah.
Scotty, great to have you. I know you always bring gems to the Wednesday. What's on your mind today?
Well, guys, just some stuff I was thinking about today in preparation for the show. I wanted to talk about my Louisville Rockets and the very good season that they are having, and more specifically this matchup against Mineral Ridge. And when I was in high school, we used to kind of poke fun at them, call them Miserable Ridge. But this matchup against Mineral Ridge, the Rams, I wanted to know from you guys. I think there's going to be a lot of focus, a ton of focus on this game. on the two quarterbacks and Vinny Balone and Mark Bunch in this game. I wanted to know from you guys your thoughts, because you guys are really how you break things down. I really admire it and respect it a lot. I just wanted to know your guys' thoughts on, do you think it simply comes down to what quarterback plays better when it's Balone against Bunch? And if you don't think that, what do you think is another factor that maybe could be the key or an X factor in deciding this game? I guess Anthony, since it's your show, you could go first.
It's our show. I think it's really going to come down to what Middle Ridge team shows up. To be quite honest, I mean, we've seen Middle Ridge look really, really good at times, and some games they really show up. And there's a team there that passes well, runs well, stops other teams well. But we've also seen West Branch show up and struggle. And I think they're a team that's kind of streaky right now, dealing with some consistency issues. So if Middle Ridge shows up and is the Middle Ridge we all know they can be and reaches their potential, this could be a really good game. But if they don't, I think Vinny Balone can really make this kind of a runaway for Louisville.
What, like, I get the feeling though, if you had to go to bed, like if you could put money on this,
Skittles, Scotty.
Skittles, yes. I always, that was a slip. Skittles or a Milky Way.
Oh.
If you could put Skittles or a Milky Way on it, I get just an inkling from you, a feeling that you're leaning towards. You think there's a better chance Louisville wins in a row.
I don't want to give up my pick for Friday. I'm not trying to do that, but I will say that if I had to break down percentages wise, now I can pick against percentages because that's my prerogative. But I would say percentages right now, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Louisville because they've just been the more consistent team. So I trust them a little bit more.
Ty, did you see anything here that you think might be to the contrary, and maybe something the Rams could expose against the Rockets?
So here's why this is also going to be a big game for more than one reason. So you're looking at Division 6's Region 21's number 16 seed in Mineral Ridge Rams, meaning that being at 16, a loss can drop them out of the playoffs. They are just in at that 16
with
spot.
One more week after, you can't really make up room again.
Exactly. And then for Louisville, Division 7 Region 25's number 8 seed, right now hosting a playoff game if that stands. You got to be in the top 8 to host a playoff game. So if Louisville loses, they can drop the home field advantage in the playoffs. So there's a lot on the line. A playoff life is on the line in Mineral Ridge, and clinching home field advantage is kind of on the line for Louisville and being in that top 8. I'll tell you this, I do think the quarterback play for each quarterback is going to be huge in this game, mostly because not that either a defensive line or offensive line has been bad, but I think they're going to match up just fine in this one. I don't think either one has a clear, distinct advantage. So you're going to see both these quarterbacks have decent time. Sometimes they'll be pressured, but they're going to be right around the same amount of pressure they're each going to face, and they're going to have some time to throw and make things happen. Mark Bunch maybe a little bit more with his legs, Vinny Balone more with his arms. But
I think that's something that doesn't get talked about enough for Mark Bunch's game. He is really elusive. He's able to escape the pocket real well. He does a lot of damage with his legs, a lot of design quarterback runs as well. He's a big guy. He's hard to bring down. He's got a low center of gravity. He's not extremely tall. He's tall enough to be a good quarterback, but he's still got a really pretty low center of gravity. So he's hard to bring down. His legs are good. He drives really well through tackles. You see him take a defender an extra yard or two when he gets hit. He almost never falls backwards. So he is a good runner, but he can also step back and throw the ball pretty well. and he's got some really good weapons, especially at the tight end position that he can utilize. It'll be interesting to see which team's weapons come up more, because obviously Benovsky, big weapon for Bologna. Mark Bunch has some weapons too.
Well, Mark Bunch too, and the Rams scoring 40 is definitely going to propel them, I think, going into this game against Louisville. It's going to get that offense and that whole team excited. But the big thing with Louisville, 2 losses on the season, and of course it was a heartbreaker versus Western Reserve that, they could probably look back on, pick out a couple of plays, say, hey, if we did this thing different, we might be out on top. But this is also, with the exception of the Springfield game, this is a Louisville team that has been competitive in every single one of their games, won 6 of them. This is a very good Louisville team, and especially in Division 7 games. Playing up divisions, though, they've lost to Western Reserve in Division 6, and they've lost to Springfield in Division 6. Obviously, they've won their handful of games in D6 as well as D5, but definitely have had their challenges facing up divisions this year. But yeah, this is going to be a good game, I think, between the 2 quarterbacks. And I think the biggest question is just going to be, how does each defense hold in? How are the secondaries going to react for each one of these quarterbacks?
Since I went to Louisville and an alum, it's obvious who I would be pulling for in this game. You guys talked about Mark Bunch, and Anthony, you said how you don't think he gets enough credit for how dynamic he is and how he can hurt you with his legs. So if you're Louisville, do you think it's more likely that you see just straight out blitzing in this game, or if you were like coaching this game, do you put a spy on Mark Bunch, trying to neutralize him more that way?
Louisville's in a defense is going to find themselves in a conundrum because they haven't been able to stop the run extremely well this year. We saw Western Reserve run pretty well on them. We saw obviously what Springfield did. Waterloo ran really well on them. They haven't really been a great run defense stopping team, but you can't load the box against Middle Ridge because they have weapons that can beat you and they can throw the ball pretty well. So I think the key to Louisville's defense is how much they're going to be able to stop the run with 6 guys. I mean, they're going to have to win the battle up front with their defensive line and maybe 1 or 2 linebackers. They cannot afford to bring up their safeties in the run game. They just can't do it. And if they're forced to, then I think unlike Waterloo and Western Reserve, who both had good run games against them, Middle Ridge is a legitimate threat through the air too. So if you bring up those safeties, you're really taking a risk that Mark Bunch drops back and hits you with a long pass. So I really think Louisville's defense will kind of be in a conundrum. They're going to have to ask a lot of their defensive line.
Yeah, it's I guess it's one of those situations where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
And as far as blitzing, you need to do that. And I don't want to bring the professional into it, but because obviously what professional teams are able to do, you can't just say, hey, high schoolers, go do that. But some of the schemes that they've been starting to work on, some of these more elusive quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, you see teams start to do a layered blitz scheme where they kind of have what you would call spies for maybe a second, and then they come late on a blitz. And if you stay in your lanes as a lineman and contain the gaps, then those layered blitzes can work pretty well. I think Springfield utilized it quite a bit in their game against Louisville. Some blitzes that came a little bit later, maybe weren't shown at the line of scrimmage against Finney Bologna. So I think the Louisville might have to utilize some of that to counteract Mark Bunch's running ability.
Ty, we all know what Vinny Bologna could do, but I guess closing on this for you, Ty, the question I have with the Rockets off to, I believe they're 6-2 now, going into this one. It's it's been a terrific season for them so far, and they got almost a 2-decade monkey off their back in the win against McDonald. I think it was the first time in almost 20 years they beat McDonald. So other than obviously Vinny Balone, because we all know how talented he is, what has impressed you the most about this Louisville team this season?
I think it's just their ability to lock in late in games, I think has been the most impressive thing. And you know what? With the exception of the loss to Western Reserve, they've come out on top of every other close game to this point. I mean, you're looking at a close game to Waterloo, where Waterloo had a really good chance at coming out victorious, and they put them away pretty handedly. I mean, another example too with McDonald. I mean, getting those late scores, going up 40-22. That was a big win for this school, and I think they're proving that they can compete late in close games. And even in that loss to Western Reserve, I think that was the most impressive thing, is that from Louisville last year to this year, it was Louisville beat up on the teams that they should, but when they were facing the competitive teams, they kind of faltered. This year, they're facing the competitive teams, and they're being competitive with the competitive teams and doing what they should against teams that they probably should beat. And I think that's been the most impressive. And also to note, too, while we're on the topic of Louisville and football, don't forget Coach Mamula is going to be on the show Friday. 1:45 we'll be talking to head coach of the Louisville Rockets. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about this matchup as well.
I think one of their biggest improvements from last year to this year, one of the reasons why, like you said, they're competing with the better teams, their offensive line is better this year. Outside of that Springfield game, when they were just overwhelmed a little bit by Springfield's blitz packages, they have really protected Vinny Blown pretty well, and they've given him the option to either run or pass, and he doesn't have to run for his life and kind of turn into 1-on-11. So I think the offensive line, for the most part this year, has played pretty well. There have been some breakdowns here and there, but you expect that from a high school team. No high school offensive line is going to be perfect. These are still 15 to 18-year-old kids. So for the most part, his offensive line has been backing him up pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Scotty. That was a great topic, but you got about 12 minutes for trivia before we let you get out of the studio. And reminding everybody, the score is 27-7 total, but Scotty has five answers in the last 2 weeks. So Scotty's on a little bit of a hot streak. Ty's still up by 20. So Scotty, without further ado, I'm gonna give you. Starting at 17:30, your clock will start, and we will go until 1:28:30. All right. So, ready, go.
Yes, Ty. Okay. First question. This I'm coming at you. I don't know if you call it the heater because it just comes at you like boom, or more of the off speed to throw you off. But either way, I think this is a really tough one off the bat. What former superstar wide receiver was born on this day? Today is his birthday. He turns 59 years old.
See, I would have told him his age. I would have told him his age. I would have just been like, hey, he's got a birthday.
Yeah, the age might help out. Now I got to think a little bit, too. 59 years old. Where would that have placed him? What seasons? You just want to know who it is.
Who it is, yes.
Okay.
Big birthday today.
Big birthday. So happy
birthday.
What superstar wide receiver was born
Former.
today?
Obviously, if he's 50.
Yeah, he's a complete dud now. I mean,
yeah, complete dud.
Former superstar. Now he's just a
What superstar wide receiver was born today? 59 years old, dude. I'm trying to think of the superstars that were born. And 59 would play what is the time frame of when they usually come into the NFL? If they come out of college, it's like 21, 22.
He asking. I'm not going to help.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm talking to myself today. You know, at 59, the only superstar that I could think of at that time frame is going to be Jerry Rice. So I'm going to say Jerry Rice for that one.
Damn you, Ty.
He got him.
I shouldn't have. You got me. I shouldn't.
59 gave it away a little bit. I was thinking about that time, and I was like,
I don't think you would have gotten it if you didn't give him the age. Hey, guess
He
what?
might
Who's
not-
got a birthday? Well, I know Jimmy Rice was born today because
if you said
I
superstar
read
wide
his-
receiver, I was like,
I shouldn't have gave you his age.
He tipped his signs a little bit. I knew what it was. I got the trash bag,
You
the
got the
trash can
trash
bag.
bag
I knew what was coming, so I was able to hit that one.
All right, Scotty, you got about 9 minutes for more questions.
Okay, my second question for you, Ty, and this is sticking with football and more specifically the Cleveland Browns. And it was when Jim Brown was the running back. He set at that time a single game record for the franchise history in rushing attempts at that time. What year did he set the record for rushing attempts in a game, and what team was it against?
Oh, he's bringing the
So
essay
he's-
questions.
He's not even asking how many attempts he had either. Like,
No.
so it's only 2 parts. You just have to
So-
know what year he did it and what team he did it against.
He led the team, or he led the league, or did he
I
give that away, or
he
did he
worded
not?
it like it was a franchise record. That's what he said.
Yes,
It's a team record,
it
so not
was
a
a
league
team
record.
record.
Okay. What year he led the team? That's a good question too, because he had a few very good seasons.
While Ty thinks it over, I'll remind everybody that the comment section brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi is live. And if you want to throw in your hat in the ring in the trivia questions, you can throw in answers on the comment section, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. I won't pop it up to give it away from Ty, but I will be able to tell you if you're right or not.
Should I give you? I don't
Don't
even
you dare give him a
No,
hint.
you don't. What year did
The robot
Jim
doesn't need a
Brown
hint.
have the franchise record for rushing attempts in a game? In a game, right? Or was it in a season? You said
It was in one game at that time.
so. Rushing attempts in a game, not a season.
In a game.
Okay, I was thinking season-wise, and I was like, well, what year did he have the most yards? Okay, so in a game. What year? Oh man, it's hard because it's attempts too. It's not like a notable record. What? Oh man. What year did Jim Brown break single game rushing attempts for the Browns? I know he led I think it was the 1963 season he led the league in yards, or the league or the team. But what year did Jim Brown lead single game rushing attempts for the Browns? Wow, that's a tough one. He retired in 67, 66. I think he played 9 years, 10 years. So it's somewhere in between 56 and 66. So I got a 1 in 10 shot at it. 1961.
That is incorrect.
Yeah, I can't.
Ty.
Yeah, that one.
If
That
he
one's a
doesn't know
tough
the year,
one.
there's no way he knows the team. I think you got a twofer.
Do you know? Would you know the team?
Let me think on the team real quick. I was so tripped up thinking about the Jim Brown year. I couldn't think of. I'm trying to think of all the teams that existed back in the 50s and the 60s at that time, because it's hard not knowing the year. You might have me stumped on this one, Scotty. What year did Jim Brown break the single season rushing attempts, single game. See, I'm not even sure, Scotty. You stumped me. I want to get to. I'll get to other trivia questions. I don't want to take too much of your time.
You got him too. That's two.
So I got you twice, Ty. It was, you said 61. It was 1959, and it was against the Chicago Cardinals. And just to add the cherry on top, it was 37 rushing attempts at that time. Now, piggybacking
4.5 minutes
off of this question, Ty, his record was broken twice by two different Browns running backs. Who were the guys to break the record, Jim Brown's rushing record? How many attempts did they have, and what teams did they do it against?
He's just going with the attempts now. Some
now he's switching. He doesn't know. He doesn't care what year anymore.
Yeah.
He just wants to know what team.
What teams in the two? So, Browns single game rushing attempt leaders is basically all I got to think about now. Is who's on top?
Who's on top? There's two more. Whose record did he break?
Yeah, it's two more above Jim Brown. So it's just.
But then you have to know what team he did against. That's brutal. I told you to get more sadistic with these questions. You're doing a good job.
Because it's hard because it's not a season; it's a game. So it's hard to think because anyone could just have a great game. Oh man, I'm trying to think.
It's not even yards or touchdowns.
Yeah, I know.
It's attempts. Like he could be sucking
rounds. I
single
could give
game
you a
rushing
small,
attempt
No
leaders.
hits. Skynet does not need help.
Skynet. Thanks for the compliment. Oh man,
I'm glad
Scotty brings the smoke today. I got time. I got
a little bit of time, but I mean, like you're cutting into Scotty's time. I'm gonna have to be a referee here.
A referee.
I'm gonna give you 50 seconds. You have until 1:28. So Scotty can get one more question in.
Yeah, I got to get at least three. Trifecta.
Trifecta. He's trying to. I'm trying to think.
30 seconds time. We're starting to get into Jeopardy themes time.
Yeah, he's got a tough one here too.
20 seconds. Do we have a guest? Your time is winding down. This question will self-destruct in 10 seconds.
I'm just trying to. I can't. I'm trying to think of the single game. I know there's a guy that had 286 yards or something like that. I can't think of his name right now. It's slipping my mind.
Scotty, you got him again. That's 2. That's 4 total. Up 4-1. Scotty, you got one more question.
Yes, and
you got, and it's gonna be a time crunch one too.
Just so you know, Ty, it was Lee Suggs in 2004 against Miami with 38, and then Jerome Harrison in 2009 against the Raiders, 39. But
both those guys are who?
My last question for you, Ty, was who won the World Series in 1906, and in how many games did they win it?
All right, Ty, 1906 World Series, and you have, I'm going to give you 2 minutes.
So who won the 1906 World Series?
And how many games?
So he goes from rushing attempts and 4-part questions too. Now I just got to think of the teams that were.
Now see, this one I have to check because we had some issues last week with dates.
I think
no help from Super Dave today, so I think these are these are accurate.
Super Dave's been fired.
Yeah, his services
Are
are
no
no
longer
longer
required.
needed.
Oh man.
So, in 1906, I want to say that year was the year that the Cubs had the record 116 wins in a season. And in that year, they lost in the World Series to the other Chicago team, which were they the White Sox or the Black Sox at that time? But either or, I think if they were the Black Sox at the time, either way, they won in 6 games. Not the Cubs lost it in 6 games.
To the what? To the what? What's your final answer? You want White Sox or Black Sox?
I guess White Sox at the time. I'm not sure if they were White Sox or Black
Ty
Sox.
nailed it. I looked it up. He nailed it.
Yeah, you're the man, Ty. You got it.
That means Scotty still wins today. 43.
Yeah, he got a win.
And the total goes to 30-11. Ty leads. But Scotty's inching closer.
He picked one up on me. He won the day 43.
You said
at this rate, in like 3 months, you might catch up to.
Yeah. You said I had to get real obscure, but
I'm telling you.
I want to thank you guys for having me on today. It was a blast. Always good being a part of YSN Nation and kind of picking your guys, getting to pick your brain a little bit. And just because, who doesn't love high school football and talking about it and getting closer to the playoffs? This is the best time of the year. So thank you guys. And I'll be on for the Power Hour later coming up at 3. And we'll see you guys next week.
We look forward to next Wednesday, Scotty. And, of course, we'll look forward to seeing you later on the Power Hour as well.
Mm-hmm. You'll lift some weights for that Power Hour. Bump you up.
I can do that. I mean, they're only like 5 pounds.
Hey, weights are weights, man.
Guess I'm gonna have to start looking at rushing attempt leaders for every franchise for next week now.
He's gonna come out next week.
You just got to remember, Scotty, every time you find a chink in my armor is just another thing I'm gonna study up on before I face you next time. So.
Well, obviously being a Browns fan, even though I never saw him play, Jim Brown, I mean, come on, how do you not like the guy? So had to give a question about him in there.
Yeah, good questions though. Good questions today, Scotty.
30-11. You're still down by
19. Still got. I
don't call it a comeback. Don't call it a comeback. That was the most he's won in a day.
Yeah, you did a good job today. You brought some smoke today.
I brought the heat.
You know what it is? It's that brand new white hat.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's looking spiffy.
I think so.
It gave me good luck today.
The hat's clean, and so are the trivia.
Yep. Absolutely.
Actually, the trivia was filthy, man. Straight filth.
Straight filth. Now I just got to come up with like questions about I don't know, the Olympics coming back to
who is the last non-Chinese ping pong gold medalist?
Yeah, something like that.
We'll be looking forward to your questions.
Ty will never get it.
Before
NASCAR, bring NASCAR.
Before Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi, who won the hot dog eating contest?
Bring in NASCAR.
Oh boy, NASCAR! You're gonna bring in NASCAR?
I might. I just might.
All right, Scotty. Before I let you go, who's winning the World Series this year?
Well, my pick went up in flames. I wanted to go out on a limb because I'm sick of the same old teams. I had I mean, even though the Rays made it last year, but they're a smaller market. I had Brewers, Rays, so that's toast.
Go Braves!
Right now, I think it's gonna be it's gonna be a love affair on ESPN because it's gonna be the 2 markets they want. I think it's gonna be Boston and the Dodgers, and something about this Red Sox team. It just seems like they have magic this postseason. I feel like they're gonna take another one home, which would be their 5th World Series victory since
They're
2004.
looking very
which is
similar to
crazy.
the Red Sox of the 2004, 2007, 2013, and 2018.
We
years.
know they don't have
Usually
Angels because, as we've learned, championships have to be one of their own. Is the rules of the Angels. So
Yeah.
no Angels in the outfield. For
No Christopher Lloyd coming to the rescue.
No Al.
Yeah, Al.
Just
that was a great movie.
Great movie. One of these days we're gonna have you should bring a sports movie trivia into it.
Yeah,
let's talk about some sports movies.
We should.
See if
It's
Ty can be stumped by that.
Is like Major League. You guys consider it dated now that the Indians are no longer
good.
or the Guardians.
No, it's not because the Angels in the outfield. They're in that movie.
They were the California.
Angels.
You're right.
And since then, they've went from California to Anaheim to now they're the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which I don't think makes any sense at all. It's like, what if we were the Kansas City Chiefs of Springfield, Missouri?
Well,
what are we doing?
It's weird. And
I get it because their stadium's in Anaheim, but they want to represent Los
And
Angeles.
I thought it was weird. I don't know if you remember, guys, but when the Anaheim got a franchise in the NHL and they went right from the movie, they used to be called the Mighty Ducks, and then they switched them to just the Ducks.
I think that was Disney saying that like they're not gonna use the Mighty Ducks anymore.
Yeah.
I think originally Disney had a ownership stake in that franchise.
Oh, and then they didn't.
So it was the Mighty Ducks off the movie.
And
then they didn't anymore. They're like, well, you can't.
I don't really know much about the NHL or really understand the game, but I gotta say, Kraken for the new Seattle franchise, the Kraken, I think that's a pretty dope team name.
I like that they're staying with the basic color scheme of the Seattle teams. I mean, like green, blue. It's a different shade of green than the Mariners or Seahawks, but I like when teams all have like the same kind of at least basic color scheme for the cities, like the Penguins and the Steelers and the Pirates.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm over here rocking red in football season and blue in baseball season. And royal blue and Chiefs red, I don't think really go together. I think I look like Superman all the time if I'm trying to wear both.
Yeah, there you go. You should come in like that. You didn't. You certainly.
I heard you were having a problem.
It looks like both your Kansas City teams are having a problem right now.
We don't talk about it. It's going to be fine. Everything is fine.
It's like that meme. It's like the whole house and the kitchen's on fire, and you're
I'm
just
the dog
sitting there
with his tea.
You're
This
sitting
is fine.
there. This is fine.
Yep, this is fine. I'm like the episode of Friends where Ross is fine. The one where Ross is fine. The one where the Chiefs are fine. Everything's fine.
Well,
stop turning the ball over. That's all we have to do. God bless. Let's see. It's what I think 12 turnovers in 3 games. Like, stop it.
I guess at least you didn't lose 2 heartbreakers this year already.
We got smacked by the Bills. That's heartbreaking enough. I am so glad I don't have to deal with, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
He shall remain nameless. But
He's kind of like Baltimore without any powers. We just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Without any powers.
Although,
he's just a person. He's Voldemort without any powers.
Jordan
So he's just a person with no nose is what you're calling him now. Oh my God.
Let's get out of here before we do any more damage. We'll be back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Don't go anywhere.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers. And we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, When natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Cocos Pizza, proud to announce our pizza buffet's back every Wednesday at our Boardman and Campfield locations. Adults only $7.99 and kids only $4.99, and $2 beers starting at 8 o'clock. That's Cocos Pizza. We serve it hot.
Every customer has a story, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Welcome back to Running Point, the Wednesday edition on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, and Ty in the studio once again today, and it's been a great show. It's gone really fast because we've been this loaded with people talking to.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, it only gets better for the next couple of days. We're going to have more guests on the show, and it's going to be fun.
One of those weeks where everyone just wanted to gravitate towards Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so we just have those 3 days like loaded up. And Monday and Tuesday was just kind of you and me, gearing the ship for 2 hours.
And we know, sometimes those Monday shows, It's hard to get guests on there because there's so much to recap from over the weekend too. Because obviously we don't have our show Saturday and Sunday, so we got to talk about that.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and we got to talk. We got to talk about a lot of things that happened Friday night because obviously football scores and mapping those things out and just looking at the forecast of what's changing too in each division.
Yeah, something that we do want to recap that about last night. We talked about Austintown Fitch winning their championship in the AAC, but Western Reserve also clinched the MVAC Scarlet tier. So I want to give a shout out to Western Reserve Volleyball for winning their championship last night with a sweep over Sebring. And they clinched the outright championship of the MVAC Scarlet tier. And this is a little bit of redemption because the last 2 years, it's actually last year it belonged to Middle Ridge, and it was really highly contested the year before. The MVAC went to Western Reserve, so now it's back in Western Reserve's possession.
Yeah, and I mean it's obviously great times too. Great weather we're having too at night. 72, I believe it was last night. Like perfect weather. You can't ask for anything better for mid-October.
Perfect segue to look at the Storm Tracker 21 forecast for tonight's Salem versus West Branch team or any other soccer game you're interested in going to tonight. At kickoff, it looks like it's going to be mostly cloudy, not totally cloudy, with a temperature of 66. So maybe a light jacket.
Comfortable.
No rain in the forecast for tonight, which is good for both teams, especially since West Branch has the grass field. Everyone's going to be clean, and it shouldn't be a weather-determined match. If you're up for the soccer match, there's no better one to go to tonight than West Branch and Salem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got great matchups with soccer tonight. You got great football games on Friday. I mean, volleyball, some great matchups now until the tournament. It's getting real fun fall sports here in the area. Don't forget, too, as kind of a preview for the next 2 days, too, we were talking a little bit about those guests we're going to have on. We already have now confirmed for tomorrow. We got Austin Klein, our big dog of the Valley.
High noon?
Yep, at high noon. Now also confirmed at 12:30, we're going to have Coach Emil from Cheney Football. That's going to be on the show talking about a big matchup with Warren Harding this week, which could have huge implications for Cheney in their playoff fight. And also, too, at 1 o'clock, Coach Bowersox from Heartland Christian Volleyball going to come in and talk with us a little bit. As excited to get some insight on how their program has been this entire season and some big surprises maybe that they've found over the course of the season.
And those will all be live, but also tomorrow we're going to be premiering an interview that we're going to be recording off the air with a great golfer in the area that has qualified for state from Boardman. It'll be Ryan Sam joining us. We'll be debuting that interview that we do with him. So 4 guests really tomorrow when you talk about it, and we're excited for each and every one of them.
And of course, we're going to have our football preview premier matchups.
Squeeze premier matchups.
We might have to squeeze it down to 3 premier matchups instead of 5, but we will be looking at some.
Here's a loophole. We just did Lowville and Middle Ridge with Scotty.
Yeah, so we could talk about that a little bit more too tomorrow, but we got a little bit of football preview for you tomorrow. We'll be doing our in-depth previews on those few games, probably around 3 to 5 usually. We'll be talking with Coach Emil, and then Friday too, going to be an all football Friday. Right. We got our picks, and we got 3 football coaches due to come on Friday, as we got Coach Davies from Waterloo football. We have Coach
big win for them this week.
Coach Mamula from Lowville with obviously their big win over McDonald this week. We're going to be talking to them. And Coach Altamore, too. I believe we're set to be talking to him.
Do you think
Friday.
We can have spaghetti on the air?
Yeah, honestly. As Coach Altamore, obviously the winner of the Lisbon and Latonia, he got another second big win of the program for the Lisbon Blue Devils. And he has some history with both schools, too. So being a teacher at one and coaching at the other. So there's obviously going to be some fun stories to talk about with Coach Altamore on Friday as well.
Yeah. So it'll be a fun rest of the week. We also want to give a shout out to Beaver Local Volleyball, who advanced to the OVAC championships with a win over Oakland. They will play Union Local on Saturday for the OVAC championship. So volleyball teams ending their season with hardware on the line or hardware already won, and we're excited for all of that. and some more volleyball tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As winding down are the fall sports and playoffs right around the corner. And before you know it, in probably about a month's time now, we're going to be talking basketball previews. And that's how quickly these sports sneak up on us. But we're excited too. And this is a very exciting time. Fall sports coming to an end, soccer playoffs, volleyball playoffs, football playoffs right around the corner. It's going to be a great time, and I think it's going to be exciting in this area.
And we have 3 volleyball games on the network tonight. I will be in Brookfield as they host Springfield. That game will be varsity only, and it'll start at 6. So if you're looking to tune into that one, it'll be on the air a little bit earlier than normal. We'll be on the air at 6 tonight, varsity only in Brookfield between Springfield and the Warriors. Leetonia will be going to United. The school will have that one covered for you, and Struthers will be at Poland. School will have that one at 2. It looks like the JV and varsity will both be streamed from Poland, 5:30 and 7 for those 2 games. Struthers is going to be actually that game also going to be senior night. I'm sorry, that's on there twice. But Struthers at Poland, of course, that's going to be senior night for the Bulldogs. East Palestine hosting the Academy for Urban Scholars as well tonight. You look at some soccer games. Obviously, West Branch and Salem will be happening, as we've talked about that in depth. But some other ones, Brookfield at Newton Falls, Crestview at Champion, Cardinal Mooney and Urson, a holy war between the girls' soccer teams there. Canfield at Fitch, that'll be a fun one. And Niles and Hubbard, that should be good. Struthers at Poland, the school will have that one covered, so that one will be on the network. And then Garfield also going to play Springfield. That'll be a good girls soccer matchup as well. Springfield, one of the better teams in the area, with a 4 seed in Division 3. So a lot of soccer tonight, a lot of volleyball. Make sure to get out and support these teams. And if you're stuck at home, head over to ysnlive.com/live to check out the live broadcast that we have on the network tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, though, make sure you pack those stands too and get out there and support these student athletes. They feed off your energy when you guys are there, and you guys are a rocking crowd. And we love seeing it too as well on our broadcast. We love having a packed house and a full crowd there as well. And of course, like Anthony said, if you aren't able to make it to the game, we are luckily have some of these on live, YSN Live, some broadcasts for you to watch them.
Yeah, and as we wrap up, I want to thank Mike Bailey and Max Kamatz for coming on the show today. It was great to talk to the senior captain of the boys soccer team, along with their coach of the boys and the girls program. Juggling a lot of hats is Mike Bailey and his coaching staff. They're doing a phenomenal job. The girls with more wins than they've ever had in program history. So they'll look to add to that tonight against West Branch. I want to thank Alyssa Leskovac for joining the show as well. The Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner this week from Austin Town Fitch, senior captain, and also the owner of the Aces record, not just the season, but also in a match for Austin Town Fitch. Great talking to her. And I obviously want to thank Scotty for coming on every week like he does.
Yeah, absolutely. We love our guests, and we got a bunch for you the next couple of days as we wind down for week 9. Man, oh man, season's flown by.
It really, really has. Casual Sports Podcast is coming up next from 2 to 3. Power Hour from 3 to 4. They'll have you covered. And you know what? We should also preview that prime time tomorrow is going to be at Boardman Fitch.
That's going to be a big matchup too.
So I'm pretty sure you'll probably see some interviews with some Boardman players and Coach Antrim tomorrow as well, live from Boardman. So not only will we have the football guests Friday and Thursday, but also a lot of guests on the primetime show on Thursday night as well. So we're going to be talking to a lot of coaches and players on YSN in the next couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're excited for it too. And we love packing our Football Fridays, talking to a bunch of football coaches as well.
Football Fridays, man. We're winding down with that.
Yeah.
We have week 9 this week, 10 next week, and then we're in the playoffs. And, we're like maybe a month away from saying there are only a couple of teams left fighting for a state championship.
But you know what? As that winds down, hoops picks up. So we got boys and girls basketball, and I'm excited to talk back.
We are actively working on our plan for basketball previews going forward, and we have exciting things planned for how we're going to do that. And hopefully everyone will enjoy that as well, as that is around the corner. You don't want to talk about it yet because you still got some things to take care of before basketball season gets there, but it's that horizon just getting off.
We're seeing the exit signs.
Just getting off the edge. It's like, here's basketball. We're starting to see teams post workout videos and open gym pictures and things like that. And it's like, here comes basketball.
Yeah, it's the exit sign's about 40 miles away now, but it's in sight, and we're getting closer to it. And I'm very excited.
You're excited
for it.
because you're a basketball junkie.
Yeah, big basketball guy. Love calling this sport, and I love the sport in the area too.
So we will look forward to that. We look forward to tomorrow from 12 to 2. Remember, we have Coach for Heartland Volleyball. We have Coach Emil from Cheney. And we'll also have debuting an interview with Ryan Sam from Boardman Golf. And I believe there's so many guests. Austin Klein at noon, yes. So many guests, and some of them that we've confirmed like an hour ago.
Yeah.
So Austin Klein at noon. And then on those other guests, as well as the show goes on. Don't miss tomorrow. It's going to be jam-packed from 12 to 2. We're going to head out today. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3.